Hola people, welcome back to my channel, you beautiful, loyal, three creatures, you. But for the ones that are new here, and most likely you are, hi, my name is Monica, but you can call me Moni or even Miss Aborted because this mess over here has survived an abortion. But today we are not here to talk about that. We are here to talk about another basic bitch palette. Who am I? Who am I like that I'm trying couple of neutral palettes in a row? Because that's not my true personality. But I don't know why I was drawn to this palette as well, and we are talking about the NARS CLIMAX palette. In this video, what we're gonna do is first I'm gonna show you how the swatches look like in natural and in studio light, because I already took this palette to another of my walks in the nearby parks so I can get inspired. Then we're gonna do one look in which I will try to use as many shades as possible so I can see how they are performing on the eyes as well. And at last, I'm gonna give you my honest opinion so you will know if this palette is worth your money or not. And let's see if this palette can make our makeup punani climax. See red. Keep going. Turn up the intensity with Climax eyeshadow palette, featuring the most innovative eyeshadow finishes yet. Swipe on 9 smoky shades in silky matte, metallic, and multidimensional finishes for extreme eyes with extreme payoff. Lightweight, creamy formula can be worn alone or layered for a dramatic effect. Buildable, blendable, boldly wearable. So guys, my hair is a mess. My makeup has been applied from a couple of hours ago because I've been out and about and I've been eating with this makeup. So if my face makeup looks crusty, don't mind me please, because it's been a while. But if you're interested what is on my face, and if you like any of my face makeup, you can see everything as usually. It will be listed in the description box below. And with that, let's keep on going because I want this video to be short and sweet because this palette is short and sweet. You can see that in this palette we have 4 mattes, a couple of shimmers, and couple of metallic. And what I'm going for today is this regular classic smoky eyeshadow look, and I'm gonna try to use as many eyeshadows as possible. So first things first, I'm gonna take Private Show, which is this beautiful mauvey brown matte. I'm gonna dust it off and I'm gonna put it in my crease, and this will be our transition shade. And let's see how pigmented this is. It is pigmented. It is very, very pigmented. I didn't expect this. So according to the description for this palette, it says that these mattes are extremely easily blendable and you can layer them up to create more dramatic look. So this is my first experience with NARS eyeshadow palettes. Before, I've only used their foundations and their face palette. I already primed my eyes, and as usual I use the P.Louise eye primer base in the shade 2, which is called the Rumour as well, in order to increase the performance of these shades and to give them the best chance. Okay, and now in order for me to test as many shades as possible, I'm gonna take the other beautiful creamy matte that is called Open Wide. I mean, according to my personality, I really like dirty names in makeup or in general for things that are not suitable to have that kind of name. So I actually don't mind that this palette is called the Climax. I mean, their famous blush is called Orgasm. Anyways, so I'm gonna try to blend the previous shade even more with this shade. So if you see some shimmer, is because of that. Oh my god, I thought that before the shade was already perfectly blended, but this combination of between these two creamy mattes is even better, guys. Like, okay, now I'm gonna go with this dark, beautiful brown shade. It is another matte, and this is like looks really rich. And I'm gonna go in the outer V of my crease, and first I'm gonna start tapping, really pigmented as well. Okay, and after I place my shape, I'm gonna start blending. And I'm gonna take Private Show again on the same brush to blend out the edges even better. This is the first shade that we've used. In order to test the eyeshadows, I already went ahead and I darkened up this eye. I layered more of that dark chocolatey brown, and then I blended out with the same shades that I've used already. So I just took more eyeshadow, I stamped it as before, and then I started blending it with small circular movements because you don't want to drag out, unless you want to drag out more darkness. I don't want to drag out more darkness in my outer corner. And then I'm gonna go with Private Show, and I'm gonna blend out Private Show with Open Wide. I'm taking another matte shade, and this is this khaki green color, and I'm gonna place it in the inner portion of my eye, again stamping, and then I'm gonna blend it. These kind of shades are making your eyes pop out, especially if you have any kind of green in your eyes or green eyes in general. Even though on dark eyes, this color looks good as well. So after I place my shape, I'm gonna start blending upwards, and I'm gonna blend again with the previously placed shades, which is Private Show and Open Wide. It seems like this shade might be even darker in a sense than the rich brown shade. Now it is time to play with the metallics and with the shimmers in this palette. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna take this copper shade on a flat brush. This is from Kaleidos S4, and I'm gonna apply it in the beginning of my eye but not in my inner corner. So I'm gonna try with a brush, but if it doesn't work so well, on top of this I'm gonna go with my finger in order to get better opacity. The shade is called Envious, but it's not making me feel any enviousness. Let me try my finger. Okay, a little bit better. Okay, and now I'm gonna take the next shade next to it, and that is this beautiful green that is called Hooked, and I'm definitely hooked on it. I'm gonna directly go with a finger. I feel more comfortable with it. Ooh, give me a green, give me a green to make me happy. Beautiful. The good thing when you're using eyeshadows with your fingers is that you can go back and forth between them to blend better and seamlessly. Now the next question is, should I go with the brown to connect it with the browns in my outer corner, or should I go with the blue? My heart is saying blue. My brain is saying brown. I'm going with the blue. This is called Night Rhythm. And you know guys, I think I didn't make a mistake. It is beautiful against the browns, guys, and the green and everything. Do you see it? Do you see what I see? I don't think I made a mistake. For my inner corner, I'm going with Passion Play, which is the brightest shimmer in this palette. In my inner corner. For my under eye, I'm placing Public Eye in my outer corner of my eye, and I'm gonna go all the way till the half of my eye, and then on the other half I'm gonna take that beautiful green matte that is called Up in Smoke, and I'm gonna place that all the way till almost beginning of my eye. I'm taking Private Show on another small flat brush, and I'm gonna start blending. This brush is definitely not intended for this, but this is what I'm using right now because the rest of my eyeshadows are dirty. Okay, let me finish the other eye and I'll be back in a second. And this is the finished look, guys. I didn't put any falsies, even though this look can support some falsies, but I just wanted to showcase the look as it is. I think it's pretty timeless, smoky glam, and definitely this palette gives the same vibe. Now let's talk about this palette. As usual, I'm gonna rate this palette according to 4 different categories, and the first one that we're gonna rate this palette is performance. So today for this look, I used 8 out of the 9 shades that are in this palette. The only one that I didn't use is this brown shimmer that is called Next Level. The only shade that I was not impressed with was this metallic copper over here. Besides this copper shade that I was not impressed with, the rest of the shades perform really well. They will blending like our dream, and definitely they can easily be layered up to bring the intensity that you want. Because when I first did and applied the dark rich brown shade here, it wasn't as intense, but then when I layered it up, it became more and more, and it blended seamlessly, was not giving me any problems, and no patchiness whatsoever. And what I can tell is the longer they're on my face, the better they're becoming. I just wanted to show you this insert of me after exercising. I decided to exercise wearing this eyeshadow look because I didn't want to take it off. And look, guys, it didn't budge at all. Okay, so with that in mind, I will definitely give this palette 10 out of 10 for performance. Now let's talk about the packaging. This palette is pretty simple looking for the aesthetics. I like that you can play with it. It is satisfying to run your fingers through this palette because of these lines that are indented in it. And it does look and feel heavy and expensive, but it's made out of plastic, and as you know, plastic is not easily recyclable, and plastic means that if you drop it, it can easily break, and I'm a really clumsy person, so it gets like 2 negatives for me. So for packaging, this palette will get 8 out of 10 because it's not the best and the most innovative packaging, but it can do the job. The next category that we're gonna rate this palette on is versatility. This palette has 2 different tones, maybe 3 if we're counting this blue shade. So with that in mind, this palette is not so versatile. It is a basic beige palette, which means it's a neutral palette. It is giving the most that one palette would give for only 9 shades in it. So with that in mind, I will give this palette 6 out of 10 for versatility because there are 3 tones that you can do, which is this khaki green, browns, and let's count this blue as one of the tones. And at last, let's talk about pricing. So as you know, NARS is not a brand that is like really affordable. Quite the opposite, they are pretty pricey, but they're offering good quality at least most of the time, and really crazy names like the Climax. So in this case, for this beautiful 9-pan basic bitchiness, if that is a word, probably it's not, you will have to pay $49. And $49, guys, is a lot when we are talking about, first of all, 9-pan eyeshadow palette, and second of all, neutral palette. Because when you're paying $49, you expect to get more options, more shades, good quality and whatnot. Especially these days, a lot of brands are creating palettes that can offer good quality and at the same time so many options. At the same time, I would say that today my experience with this palette made me really to think about all the things that I wanted to say all over again, because my first impression, I already judged this palette just by looking at it and swatching it. So I thought I'm gonna come here and be like, don't get this palette, it's too expensive, it's overrated. But at the end of the day, they performed really well, and even the simplest of shades, which are these 2, impressed me so much that I was like, okay, I can just put these 2 shades or any of the shimmers on my lid and I'll be done. Will you be able to get more options and good quality for $49 from other brands? Yes, but will you get the same quality like the ones they're getting here? Maybe not. Now, having said all of that, I will give this palette 8 out of 10 for pricing. And at last, I just want to say the only bad thing that I can say about this palette is that it's limited edition and it's not going to be permanent in the NARS's eyeshadow palettes on their website. So eventually this palette will go away. So if you want to grab it, go ahead, you can. Still, it is available on their website. And with that, that is it, guys. That is it for today's video. So if you want to see more videos like this one where I am trying new and interesting makeup and I'm challenging myself to do wearable and creative looks depending on what wearable is according to your definition, like and subscribe. It is for free and you will see more of this mess over here. Until next time, toodaloo. And let's see if this palette can make our makeup parts climax. That joke? That is a pun? Disaster? Let's keep going. Is that too much for YouTube? Maybe.